A portion of this video is brought to you by Beam's Dream Powder. Click the link in the description or hang until the end of this video to hear more information about Dream. This particular story has a whole bunch of what we will have to become accustomed to with Donald Trump. Hypocrisy, lies, racism, demonizing immigrants, brown people, hatred en masse. Donald Trump announced yesterday that they were going to start shipping migrants to a 30,000 bed facility in Guantanamo Bay, even though there isn't a 30,000 bed detention facility in Guantanamo Bay. There's not. The largest U.S. prison, I believe, is Angola in Louisiana, and it's 2,500 beds. I mean, it's maybe 6,000 beds. I mean, the largest prison in the United States would be dwarfed by orders of magnitude by this particular endeavor of Donald Trump. The other element of this, and we're going to play him announcing it, is that now, after they've talked about cutting all the budgets and being good stewards of the taxpayer dollars and firing the federal workforce, they are now going to be asking for money from Congress to fund this dystopian endeavor. Here is Donald Trump announcing with the acuity of a pencil eraser, just a nonsense human being, talking about this from the White House.
Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And that's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens.
No money for Medicaid. They're going to be restructuring Medicare for retirees, Social Security. No money for that. Oh, we're on hard times in America. Oh. But all kinds of money, apparently, for a 30,000 bed detention facility in a foreign country from the United States. Am I getting that right? It's an unforced error. We shouldn't be forced to do this. You're not being forced to do this. There's no need for this. This will decimate the United States economy. This will put in jeopardy lives of actual human beings, tens of thousands, if not millions, if you get your way. Disgusting. And he had help from Democrats to do this. Again, in a time like this, we need leaders. We don't need sycophants and enablers, at the very least enablers. And like 60, maybe more than 60 Democrats between the House and the Senate voted to give Donald Trump expansive executive power relative to the Laken-Riley Act, to detain immigrants for shoplifting offenses, theft offenses, not the worst of the worst like they act like this is going to be for. Like there's just an army of serial killers out there, terrorists running loose who came across the southern border. All of it's nonsense. I'm going to read from two articles. Just a couple of paragraphs from this AP article. While signing Laken-Riley Act, Trump says he'll send worst criminal aliens to Guantanamo. Fascist Donald Trump on Wednesday signed the Laken-Riley Act into law, giving federal authorities broader power to deport immigrants in the U.S. illegally who have been accused of crimes, Not convicted of, not adjudicated by a judge and jury. No, accused. So if Donald Trump says, oh, they committed a crime, that's an accusation. That's not a conviction. That's not proof. That's not evidence. And Democrats made this happen for Donald Trump. And some unsuspecting, not just your Jared Moskowitzes, but Ruben Gallego, people, Alyssa Slotkin from Michigan, gave Donald Trump expansive police powers to persecute immigrants. We need an opposition party. We need people to fight against the agenda of Donald Trump to deny him wins. Instead, we're going to see where we can find common ground, they say. Giving Donald Trump new powers through legislation. Just what we need. He also announced at the ceremony that his administration planned to send the worst criminal aliens to a detention center in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. So, those Democrats who voted for the Laken Riley Act, they have some inside track on understanding that Donald Trump's not going to send accused shoplifters, not the worst of the worst, to Guantanamo. Rapist Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said his department can set up a detention center very rapidly and called Guantanamo Bay a perfect spot. Dog-killing fascist enabler Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said the administration would seek funding via spending bills Congress will eventually consider. No money for anything else. Tons of money. There will be billions of dollars passed for this. And which Democrats are going to be there to fund this? Now I'm going to go to the PBS News. Trump wants to hold up to 30,000 detained migrants at Guantanamo Bay. Here's what to know. And there are two aspects of this that I want to talk about. How does the U.S. government use the base at Guantanamo? They write, while the U.S. naval base in Cuba is best known for the suspects brought in after the September 11th, 2001 attacks, it had a small separate facility used for decades to hold migrants. The Migrant Operations Center is used for people intercepted trying to illegally reach the U.S. by boat. Most are from Haiti and Cuba. I don't know if it's still this way, but it used to be if you actually reached the mainland by boat, you were granted asylum. But if your boat was intercepted out in the waters, you were sent back. And I guess this is where they would hold them. But there is no way, it does not look, I'm a U.S. Marine, never been to Guantanamo. Most Marines have not been to Guantanamo Bay. It's a small base. So I don't know the intricacies, but I know this. There is not a facility there that can house 30,000 human beings without being retrofit and adjusted. And it's going to take billions of dollars to do that. The center takes up a tiny part of the base, includes just a handful of buildings, and has nowhere near the capacity to house 30,000 people Trump said could be sent there. Quote, we're just going to expand upon the existing migrant center, Tom Homan, mushmouth moron, told reporters. Here's the other element of this that I want you to know. Does the U.S. have sufficient detention space for Trump's plans? Trump has vowed to deport millions of people living illegally in the United States, but the current Immigration and Customs Enforcement budget only has enough funds to detain about 41,000 people. ICE detains immigrants at its processing centers and at privately operated detention facilities. Along with local prisons and jails, it has no facilities geared toward detention of families who account for roughly 1/3 of the arrivals on the southern border. They're going to be asking for lots of money in a time when they're acting like money is in short supply to further Donald Trump's racist, white supremacy-focused policy agenda of decimating the U.S. economy through removal of people who do hard work and decimating their lives by sending productive members of our communities elsewhere. Democrats better get their shit together. Elected Democrats had better find their asses with a flashlight. They better figure it out and start mounting a resistance to Donald Trump. It can't just be AOC in the House and Jasmine Crockett and a few others and Elizabeth Warren and a few others in the Senate. It cannot be. The stakes are too high. Anyway, What do you think? I invite you to this conversation. You can call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. You can click in the comment section below and comment there. And I would ask that you follow me on social media. I am at Dollemore just about everywhere. Anyway, big stuff. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another. Do you, like me, struggle with your sleep? It doesn't take much to upend my sleep routine, and the work that I do certainly isn't helping. Believe me, I know the story. If you're lucky, you get the bare minimum, but some nights you hardly sleep at all. Not only is it terribly frustrating in the moment, the lack of sleep also wreaks havoc the following day. Your energy levels, your mood, your concentration, all of these things hinge upon getting the proper amount of rest. And then the mounting anxiety of facing another potentially sleepless night. That's why I'm so excited to talk about Beam's Dream Powder, a science-backed healthy nighttime blend for sleep that is clinically shown to improve sleep and have you waking up refreshed. Dream will help you feel your best every single day. And what better time to get into a new routine than at the top of the new year? Try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder now and experience the sleep refresher you've been daydreaming about. Get up to 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/Dollemore and use code Dollemore at checkout. Other sleep aids can cause next-day grogginess, but Dream contains a powerful all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. A good night's sleep is everything. Head to shopbeam.com/Dollemore now and use code Dollemore at checkout to score 40% off their best-selling Dream Powder. That's shopbeam.com/Dollemore and use code Dollemore to save. You can make the dream of better sleep a reality with Beam.